What's up?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What's going on, everybody? We miss y'all.
We
ain't
did. We have been holidaying
all day long.
So if our house looks a mess behind us, that's why.
I don't care what y'all think about my house. It's my house. It's a little dirty, and we just went grocery shopping and got everything sitting on the counter. But we've just been talking about the stimulus package, so we got to get on here, Joe, and talk about that.
Yes.
And a few other things.
Yes. So he is holding up his shirt. Why don't you tell us about the hoodie you're wearing?
Man, this motherfucker, this thing, it's hot, man. I mean, it's kind of like, look.
He's definitely feeling himself.
Man, I'm trying to tell you. It's like, for us big folks, it's kind of hard to make stuff look good on us. And then when we get name brand stuff like this here, my cousin, Nicole Ivy, what's the name of
her company's called Be Unique. We've advertised for her a few times on our Facebook page.
You guys can get these up to 3X, I believe. She has these. She has t-shirts.
Well, I think she has a special order 3X. So if you need 3X, you need to get your orders in.
Yeah, get them in. She
I'm
got them all day long.
sure she probably charges more for that, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. I'm telling you, this is like high quality stuff, man. I'm telling you, like you expect, if you buy stuff from people you don't expect to get high quality, man, I guarantee you 2 or 3 years from now, I'll still have this hoodie and I'll still be wearing it. I bet you.
Our dog is trying to be bad right now, like we're not watching him.
Get your... Ain't the goddamn... Stole a goddamn... what was that?
It's a bagel.
I gave my daughter a bagel.
He's not supposed to have raisins.
He ain't supposed to have raisins, and he just took it from the baby. He just took it from him, went back right back in his damn kennel like he didn't do nothing. Be quiet. Get back.
Stop.
Quit.
We have to cut all this out.
Don't cut it out. This is how our house is. Our daughter's feeding the dog bagels.
She feeds him all her food. She's just like her mama. She's like, but look, it's a puppy and he's starving, obviously.
Yeah, just give it to him. Anyway, let's talk about this Monday.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the stimulus package.
Which is some bull.
What we got, what we could have got but didn't get, and what's all in it. Because I know a lot of people were like, why are we giving money to this? And, So we're going to talk about that. And I also want to talk about why we didn't get the $2,000 for each person as opposed to the $600 she's trying to feed the dog. So, the stimulus checks.
Man. Look, it's kind of hard to say that I have show gratitude towards what we did get because for some reason they act like they don't have to give us anything, and the actual stimulus checks and that money is our money. It's our tax money that we all get up and go to work. Even if you get unemployment, you take taxes out of your unemployment. Yes, you do. Eventually, they're gonna get it, and then guess what? That goes towards that stimulus money because guess what? It's tax money. Right. So I'm trying to figure out where our government, which people that are put in office to lead and to take care of us, are not taking care of us. They're taking care of big corporations. Let me get off my soapbox.
I was letting you preach.
Man, that makes me mad.
So each person that makes $75,000 or less, and I want to touch on that too later, but got $600, and then every child you have under 17 also gets you $600 additionally.
Yes.
We kind of, so our 2019 taxes kind of screwed our family over because we have 4 children. Mm-hmm. But 2 of them in 2019 were 17.
Yes.
So we didn't get paid for them. And then one...
Which they still eat everything.
They're our most expensive children.
Hungry.
Yes. And then in 2019 as well, we had a baby, but we had her... she responds to baby. We had her in November. Yeah. We had her in November. So she doesn't count because we didn't have her like 6 months into the year. So they're using your 2019 taxes. And so we only get paid for 1 kid, which is our he was 4, now he's 5.
Yeah, so do the math.
So we, yeah.
Do the math. We're not going to tell you exactly what we got. I mean, of course, you can figure it out by now. If you can't, then you probably don't need to know. All right?
So, yes. But, so for each child and then for each adult that made $75,000 or less, you get $600. And I think, payments start phasing out for individuals with adjusted gross incomes of more than $75,000, and those making more than $99,000 will not receive anything.
And it's
so per person.
Per person. So I have to make $100,000 to get nothing.
Not get anything.
And I wish I did.
But I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. So Mitch McConnell said that...
She pissed about this, y'all.
I'm so mad. His main proponent against the $2,000 stimulus payments to people was that it is socialism for the rich. And I want to point out that rich people make more than $75,000 per person, and they probably make more than $99,000 per person. So they're not getting anything. So I don't see how we're stimulating the rich population.
Right.
We're not.
Because we're not. They're just using
We're not. So when they say that, they are lying to you.
They're making a talking point to make other weird...
Like, everything is socialism that helps people. And doesn't help them. So I think, like you said earlier, I think they're just mad that they're not getting it. So they're saying, well, no one should get it because I'm not getting it. Even though they don't need it.
Even though they don't need it. Right. Mr. McConnell doesn't... I wish I could pull up his... I don't have my phone on me. I could pull up his...
He's a billionaire.
His money.
Isn't he?
He's
at least a millionaire.
He's a millionaire.
Multi-millionaire.
Yes. Absolutely. He's one of the richest people in the Senate.
So he's not going to get any money. And I think that's why he's trying to block it. And he's trying to make Republicans go against it and saying, oh, well, we're rich. We don't need it. And other rich people don't need it either. But guess what? Rich people aren't getting it. Problem solved.
And here's the thing. And people that get this money, and say if you do make $150,000 a year or $100,000 a year, as a couple you got to make $150
for a couple.
So for me, say me and her made $150,000 a year. So close. Say we did. But even if we did, check it out. Okay. We get that money, and what are we gonna do with it, honey?
Yeah, if we don't need it, we're going to go spend it, right? So that's like stimulating the economy.
Yep.
Which is what a stimulus check is supposed to do.
Guys, I need a troll motor so bad.
See, he's going to go stimulate. Okay, our last check that we got, we bought a boat and a truck. So we stimulated the economy with our stimulus check.
Absolutely.
Right? So people that don't need it, that still have their jobs, that have a savings account, guess what? We're going to spend it and stimulate the economy.
We're going to put it back into the economy.
Or we're going to save it, which they don't want you to save it. But that's the other possibility that we should have done.
We did a little bit of donations too. But when we do donations, we do... I also like to feed and give things to the needy, like gloves, hats, sandwiches, bags of chips, oatmeal, ramen noodles.
Food and drink.
I do stuff like that. Me and my kids do it all the time. And that's the way we give back to society that needs.
Right.
But that like stuff that we can get. If we don't need the money, we'll put it in the savings. If we want to spend it, we can do that. But then who's to say my next door neighbor didn't lose his job to COVID situations, and just because he lives in the same neighborhood as my doesn't mean he doesn't need help. Yeah. Or just because he made $150,000 last year doesn't mean he doesn't need help this year.
Right.
So
that's what's happened to a lot of families. Like we did the Angel Tree, and I would say over half of those people on there, it's not like
hardworking people.
Yeah, it's not like they were lazy. Just bad things happen to them due to the pandemic
situation and all this stuff.
Like if you lose your job,
you don't control that.
Yeah, even if you have a savings account, like most people don't have tens of thousands in savings just in case. Like, we all should. We all know that. But not all of us are great at saving money.
Shout out to Darius.
We're going to have an episode on financial advising as well later this year. But not all of us are great at that. So
I just found out I'm not.
We are not. So we're going to be working on that in the new year. It's one of our resolutions. But anyway, back to this. So the stimulus checks that did get passed was $600 per person, making $75,000 or less. It starts going down at that amount, and if you make $99,000, you don't get anything.
Right.
So, and that's per child as well, under 17.
They have given us a $1,200 check one time to each adult, and then they gave a $600 check. So we're gonna keep that number, guys. We're gonna keep 12 and 6 is $1,800.
Okay.
And then
that's just per person.
I'm gonna look up on my phone what other countries are doing for their people, and they've been doing it every month.
I think in Canada they're doing somewhere close to $2,000 per person every month.
Every month, but we'll get to that in just a minute.
Yeah. Anyways, so other things that are in the stimulus package, they are reinstating unemployment benefits. The jobless will receive a $300 weekly federal enhancement in benefits through March 14th. The amount is half the earlier federal boost, which was $600. That ran out at the end of July. Because Trump waited until Sunday to sign the legislations, many out-of-work Americans may only get 10 weeks of augmented payments instead of 11.
It bothers. This type of stuff bothers me because if you are actually on
if you actually need
unemployment,
help,
you need help.
Yes.
I mean, you're not there just because you want to be. You're there because you lost your job in some way. You lost your income in some way.
The job got phased out because you can't go to it.
Because of this don't let me get on. Let me not. I want you so bad.
let's move on.
This man played golf, and while these people were hungry.
Yes.
And waited to sign that bill.
Yes.
What is he doing?
Yes. Okay. Another part of this. Also, the measure provides a federally funded $100 per week additional benefit to those who have at least $5,000 in annual self-employment income but are disqualified from receiving pandemic unemployment assistance because they are eligible for regular state unemployment benefits. I don't know if that makes sense to you, buddy. Anyway, so another thing that was in it was small business loans. Reopens the Paycheck Protection Program so that some of the hardest hit small businesses can apply for a second loan. The program stopped taking applications for the first round in August. People were mad about this one. The grants for theaters and other live venues. Package creates a $15 billion grant program for live venues, theaters, and museum operators that have lost at least 25% of their revenue. I don't have a problem with that because it's keeping places like the Tower Theater in Oklahoma City open when they can't have plays right now. You know?
Yeah, but I don't think that's enough because I think they're gonna need more
yes.
in the coming months because that $15 billion is gonna run out pretty quick.
Yeah, but people were mad about that for some reason.
No, that's just keeping open stuff that we go do. So
entertainment that we can't do right now.
We can't do it now, but we'll be able to eventually.
But the arts are important.
Right, and whenever it comes back, we want it to be there when we come back. We want life to be the same.
Some of us want to go see Hamilton live instead of on Disney Plus. You know?
That's white people shit.
No, it's not. You like Hamilton.
I do.
Funding for schools and child care provides $82 billion in aid for K through 12 schools and colleges. Earlier proposals from Republicans and Democrats called for at least $100 billion. I don't know why it went down. An additional $10 billion is included to support child care providers that have struggled because of the pandemic.
Girl, you know, daycare costs is outrageous, and people need help with that.
But a lot of people that could probably took their kids out of daycare in fear of the pandemic. I did that.
Yeah, but you're also
I was
blessed in
also
many ways.
able to do that.
Yeah, so it's different for people that are forced to go to work, like people that work at Walmart, or if you're a school teacher or something like that, and your kid needs to be somewhere that you can't be.
Right.
You still need help with these type of, what do you call them?
Assistance.
Programs,
Yeah.
assistance.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good idea, but I'm not understanding why they didn't give what they needed. Why would you shortcut? Why would you shortfall them?
Anyway.
That's another headache coming.
Rental assistance. They extended that until January 31st. The eviction protection was set to expire at the end of the year. It also provides $25 billion in rental assistance for individuals who lost their sources of income during the pandemic. I don't know how. Nutrition assistance. The package raises SNAP benefits by 15% for 6 months, but does not expand eligibility.
Oh, so they don't want people to.
They don't want people to be able to qualify for SNAP, but
Right.
but they extended it.
Oh, don't sign up. But we're giving a little bit extra.
This is more generous than the original bipartisan agreement from earlier in December, which called for a 4-month increase.
Well, there are people in food lines right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out. That's almost a slap in the face. Like, so people, if you already got SNAP, that means you was already poor in the beginning.
Yeah,
So-
this isn't accounting for people
That need it now.
need it now. Yeah.
These people have lost their mind, bro.
Democrats advocated for augmenting the SNAP program, which stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and is formerly known as food stamps since the pandemic began, but the provision never made it into prior relief packages. It expands pandemic EBT programs. It sends $400 million to food banks and food pantries through the Emergency Food Assistance Program. So that's good.
Okay.
It also provides $175 million for nutrition services for seniors, such as Meals on Wheels, $13 million for the
What?
Commodity Supplemental Food Program,
13 million.
which serves more than 700,000 older Americans monthly.
Those are the people that have companies like Granas and stuff like that. The people that make those box meals or box setups for people to have meals or in those food lines.
Yeah.
All
To be
the
delivered.
Christian community activists. They can also dip into this money to be able to buy the product to make these boxes to feed people.
Right.
Well, that's a pretty good program. That's a pretty good part of it.
I'm sorry, guys. I know this is tedious, but I just want to go through everything
Hey, these
so
people-
that we know what's actually in this.
These people
and we're
want to know where
not
their money's coming from and why.
complaining. It provides funding for vaccines and the hospitals. It provides $20 billion for the purchase of vaccines so that they can be available at no charge for those who need it, as well as another $8 billion for vaccine distribution. It gives states $20 billion to assist with testing, and it adds $3 billion to the $175 billion fund for hospitals and healthcare providers for reimbursement of healthcare-related expenses or lost revenue resulting from the pandemic. The original agreement would have given them another $35 billion.
Okay.
Payroll tax repayment. Employers who are deferring their workers' payroll taxes under Trump's executive action from August now have until the end of 2021 to increase their employees withholding to pay back the taxes owed. Originally, the deferred amount had to be repaid by April 30th, which is tax season. Many federal workers were required to participate in this program, though their unions protested. Okay, so Trump what this is. Trump tried to pretend he was helping people by saying, "Hey, I'll give you extra money on your paycheck by not taking your payroll tax out of it.
Yep.
But you have to repay me, the federal government, during tax time. So anything that didn't come out of your check, you now have to repay." Some companies opted out of this. Some companies, like I just said, were not able to. So a lot of people owe more on their taxes now because Trump and this executive order. And originally, I guess that had to be repaid by April 30th, which is right after you are required to file your taxes. And they extended that. Is that what that said? Yeah, they extended that repayment until the end of 2021. You still owe it back, though.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit more on my check. I actually heard that.
But it's your money, guys.
Bruh, I heard that.
It's your money already that is just being taken out in your payroll tax, which funds things like Social Security and blah, 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 right?
You can't tell people that. Like, what bothers me is that a lot bothers me. But one of the biggest things that bothers me is the Republican type person. And I'm not trying to blame everything on Republicans because there's some terrible Democrats too.
We're going to get into that.
We're going to get into that. I'm not sure we can get into everything on this episode. We might have a part 2. But
nah, we'll get into it.
There are people that sit there and say, I don't want to help nobody. I don't want to pay nothing off my...
Why would I help anybody else?
Yeah. No, man. The government is not giving away the government's money. The government is giving away our money that comes from our paychecks. Sorry, I'm hitting my wife said you're gonna hit the table.
Every time he gets mad, our camera's very strategically placed right now.
It is. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me get this out. They say we don't want to just help nobody and give up our government money. Well, it's our money.
Socialism.
Socialism, no. So, okay, if it's socialism, that means it's socialism for big companies and corporations and not the people that it's meant to take care of. So we send all of our money to the top and it just stays up there.
Yeah,
and if we're in
such
trouble,
thing as trickle down, guys.
Okay, please don't ever say that to me again. You might well just piss on. Say trickle down to me. Say it. Say trickle. Say trickle. Because basically it goes all the way to the top and it gets to these leaders in the House and the Senate and they say, well, cool. We're going to go give it to Northrop Grumman. Or I don't mean to say them.
They got shut down.
Any lobbyist that has big money that want laws to go their direction. I can't think of the law that the Supreme Court passed right now. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't think about it. But the Supreme Court made companies people, corporations people, and that's not how it should be.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It shouldn't be that way. Our money should be our money. If we send it to the top, if we say, hey, we need something a little bit to help us out to get through this, they should send it right back. That's their job. We send them there to do that. Mm-hmm. But you got most people sitting around like, we shouldn't do that for no one. Then where's the money going then?
Yeah. Okay, so what's not included in this stimulus package is state and local government funding. The package does not contain any direct aid to state and local governments, dropping an initial call for $160 billion in assistance as the basis of good faith negotiations. House Democrats had provided $875 billion in a relief bill that passed in chamber in May to help states and local governments struggling with lower tax revenues due to the pandemic. Republicans resisted allocating additional aid beyond the $150 billion provided in Congress's $2 trillion relief bill in March, which could only be used for coronavirus-related expenses. The GOP lawmakers said they don't want to bail out states that have mismanaged their finances.
That means Republicans that don't like Democratic states, they want to still be able to pick on them right before Trump leaves office, they're still trolling states just because they didn't vote for them.
Right.
That's what it is.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about the $2,000 stimulus that was supposed to come to each person. Same rules, basically. If you made up to $150,000, you wouldn't get it, I believe.
Right.
So that's what I was talking about earlier. McConnell like shut it down basically because he was like, "Oh, it's socialism for the rich." And last time I checked, rich wasn't $150,000 a year.
No, it's not.
So
even in Biden's new plan, you got to make over $400,000
to even be taxed.
Yeah.
So I don't know, guys.
No, we know.
I got into a Facebook debate over this, and I was wrong, guys. So I am one of those people that if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit I'm wrong. So my initial belief is that Mitch McConnell, being the Senate Majority Leader, was the reason that this bill did not get through the Senate in time. And a large part of it is that, but apparently, okay, so Bernie Sanders had called, I don't want a banana. Bernie Sanders had called for each family, each person in each family to get $2,000 instead of $600.
Mm-hmm.
Saying
actually Trump called for it.
Yeah, Trump called for it, but AOC had already written it up. She was ready in the house. The squad was
got the receipts, baby. Got the receipts.
So the House passed it. They were a little bit ticked off because not as many Democrats went for it as they thought would, but it still passed the House, right? Made it to the Senate, got into the hands of like Bernie and Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, all of them, and things happened. Like,
yeah. My wife is just now opening her eyes to this part of.
No, I mean, we've said before we're progressives, and I know it makes certain Democrats mad if you call them establishment, but that's what they are. They are no different than Republicans in the fact that they're not for the people.
Nope.
They're for themselves.
And big corporations.
And they're lobbyists.
Whoever their donor is, that's who they serve, which is not us.
Right. So, I mean, we've said that before. Like, we're progressives. He was for Bernie. I was for Elizabeth Warren. But basically, what happened with this bill is when they went to pass the defense bill, they had a vote saying, are we going to vote on this $2,000 stimulus bill?
Are we going to bring it to the floor?
Right. Bernie was obviously pushing for it. Chuck Schumer said he was pushing for it. But it didn't make it because 41 Democrats voted with McConnell, allowing him to move the defense bill forward without a vote on the checks. That included yes votes from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, which was the lead sponsor on a bill to give the Americans $2,000 checks during the pandemic. One day before her vote to help McConnell, Harris called on Republicans to hold a vote on her legislation. Sorry, our kids. I think they just basically wanted to veto Trump on the defense bill, and
well, Trump wanted to add.
No, McConnell wanted to add what we would call like poison pills into it to look into election fraud. So I don't know if that was actually added in there yet or not. I don't know. I'm still blurry on that. But anyway, only 6 members of Senate Democratic Caucus voted against McConnell's maneuver, which was Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Chris Von Hollen, Jeff Merkley, Ed Markey, and Ron Wyden, which I believe are all progressives.
All progressives.
Democratic senators, in fact, provided the majority of the votes for the measure that let the defense bill proceed without a vote on the $2,000 stimulus checks.
I think it was more. I think it was more held up for hostage. I think they kind of had to do what they did
like
to get people $600 checks.
This is politics, guys.
Yeah,
it's messy.
I'm not trying to make an excuse.
Fair. But neither party is clean in this situation.
I wouldn't know.
The Republicans never wanted to give you $2,000. The Democrats want to, but they don't want to if they have to bend to Trump, which I think is basically what happened. Like, they wanted to block Trump's block on the defense bill, but they couldn't do that without voting against the stimulus checks.
I mean, it's the same reason we didn't get it a month before that, because a week or two before the election, they tried to do this same thing with the $2,000 check, and the leader of, what's her name? Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi shut it down for political reasons, because it would give Trump a win right before the election.
Right. So she didn't want to make him look good.
Yeah, so if he hands out $2,000 checks, it makes everybody happy right before the election. Everybody like, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and vote for him. He took care of us.
He gave us money.
Yeah, but come on, bro. Like, you're like 6 months behind.
Politics is...
It's a dirty game, and people really have to understand what they're doing. The only reason we're in the Democratic Party, because there's not a third party. I don't totally there's a lot of things in the Democratic Party I do not agree with, because they're being no different. They want to say let's be a centrist Democrat. Centrist means
that's why Joe Biden won.
Yeah,
because he is what you'd call moderate.
A moderate.
Like, he's not liberal, he's not socialist, you know?
Right.
So he won because Republicans felt comfortable voting for him.
Because they know they're going to still...
Because they know he'll work with them.
He's not going to change anything. Status quo. The money's still going to flow up and not go back down. Rich is going to stay rich, and the poor are going to stay poor.
Right.
That's what's going to happen under Biden. But I'm glad Trump is out of there with his racist punk ass. That's what I like.
Right. I guess what I'm trying to say is I vote Democrat because they seem to care about people's rights.
A little bit more than...
Well, they're not about like, oh, you're gay so you can't get married, and oh, you want women's rights so you can't have that. They're not trying to like hinder anybody from having their rights. So, and they care about the people in that regard. When it comes to money, they're just as greedy as the Republicans.
Man.
So
look at Nancy Pelosi talking about she don't raise the most money out of the whole party. That's why she should be the leader. Yeah, whatever.
No one's running against her, which I just found out, which is very disappointing. But I guess I don't know. That's a whole nother subject. Like when I was in the argument on Facebook, I was like, Biden and Bernie are so different that they should be in a different party, just like Trump and the Bushes are so different that they should be in a different party.
Absolutely.
Like, we don't all fit into this Republican or Democrat,
nope.
You know, but voting for a third party in any election is political suicide.
Let me say
you have to pick one party or the other.
You have to watch politics or know politics for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm a baby in this game. I'm a baby in this game. But you got to notice how the establishment in both parties shut down people that come through to try to be different. Like, if we're in the Democratic Party as a progressive, they shit on us anytime they get a chance.
They started attacking us the day after the election when we're the reason Biden won. Like, we voted for you even though we didn't want to.
So the day after the election, you got people that...
You were better than Trump. That's the only reason.
You got, oh my God, they're going to radical left ideas, and...
Which is helping people.
Which is what radical to us is making sure everybody can go to the doctor.
Homeless people aren't cold and hungry, and they have shelter.
Radical to us is to make sure your job it treats you
middle
with
class
respect.
people get paid and don't have to pay half their paycheck to health care. And like, that's radical.
That's radical. To not be crippled.
To not get a medical
forever.
bill that demolishes you.
She just finished my sentence, y'all. Y'all see that? She just finished my sentence.
That, I guess that's radical, but that's why we are considered progressives, because it's like we don't think that an unexpected cancer diagnosis should cripple your whole family for the rest of their lives.
But that's what it does today. If you get sick, so what? You're out of here. See you.
Yeah.
And then when you die, your husband still owes us $300,000. Pay up.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Anyways, but that's why we're progressives. But basically, the reason we didn't get the $2,000 stimulus checks is because McConnell didn't want to give them to us. So he made it basically impossible for the Democrats to vote yes on it.
There it is.
But they still should have, you know?
Man.
Anyway. Yeah. So.
What do you think, babe?
About what?
Did you pretty much cover it?
I think I did.
And y'all got to remember to like, share, and subscribe. If there's any questions, just hit us on Facebook or send us an email or something.
What we usually do when we post these videos is we go live, but we have like pre-recorded them and edited them, and then I set it up to go live.
She cussed my cussing out.
No, I mean I used to, but he got mad at me about it, so I don't anymore.
That's not true. She still does it.
So, that's how we do it. So if you have any questions, we're watching these videos live with you. So if you have a question, put it in the comment of the video, either live or on YouTube, and I can answer it live, real time. I'm not going to obviously answer you talking, but I can type up a response to you. I can put the sources I used for this video in the comment section of the video.
Don't I look good, y'all?
I think it is.
Man.
You should see his pants. Anyways.
By the way, Miss Nicole, it would be great to have a matching bottom. That's all I gotta say. I mean, as soon as you come out with some sweatpants that have you saying, just let me know when you get them. Okay.
I need some leggings.
Man, leggings would be.
She's got leggings, but I need to order them.
You need more leggings? I'm sorry. Let's.
Anyways, so like, share, and subscribe.
And please, y'all, share that with your friends. If we have a discussion that you have questions about, share it to your people and have talk about it.
I know people are curious about the stimulus package, why the bigger one didn't go through for people. So share a video. Hope maybe it'll educate somebody.
Mark my words, I think a bigger one's coming. This is 2021 now.
Oh yeah, no. That was the other thing. People were like, "Oh, they're just holding it up so Biden will look like our savior."
And I don't care about that. Biden won.
Let him be
Let Trump have a win on the way out the door. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
There's people that's in food lines right now that need something to eat.
But I also don't care if Biden looks like our savior, as long as people get the money they need.
Don't matter either way.
As long as people are helped, I don't care who looks good.
I look good. You look good too.
No, I don't. Anyway, so I think that's all we have.
Hey, and by the way, get a black friend.
Bye, guys.